Welcome back to Stars of the Diamond. My name is Rhett, and today I received a package from an auction that I won, and I'm pretty excited about it. And I thought it would be fun to share kind of opening this package. But the actual auction was Love of the Game Auctions. They're run by a really great guy named Al, and he's a good friend of mine in the hobby. And he runs a great auction house. He's really trustworthy, and he recently liquidated a collection of a longtime collector, and it included this lot within the group. And I won it at auction, and we're going to kind of go through it today. But it's a large collection of 1950s and 60s signed J Publishing promotional photos. And there's more than 275 with a bunch of Hall of Famers, and it kind of goes through the list here. This is the JSA letter of authenticity, and it's an auction house letter of authenticity. I'll kind of go over what that means in a second. But so the J Publishing photos are 5 inches by 7 inches, and they were usually produced in team sets and size of about 12 cards per team set. And they were sold at stadiums through the mail, in the back of like Sports Illustrated magazines and things like that. You could find the J Publishing photos, and they're kind of collected either as a full series of over 1,000 photos themselves, or there are people that just kind of focus on a particular team or a player or anything like that. So anyways, again, here's that letter of authenticity. And for those that don't know, as I start getting into this package, an auction house letter of authenticity is a little bit different than your straight certificate of authenticity. Mainly because the straight certificate of authenticity is a letter for the one particular item. And an auction house letter of authenticity is not exactly that. In this case, there are almost 300 different photos included here. And it's kind of a catch-all letter of authenticity, meaning in this case, JSA went through this lot and was comfortable with the vast majority of these autographs. In this case, this was from a collection of a longtime collector, and I believe his name was Ted Patterson, and he would go to stadiums and get these. So good provenance to begin with, and so they looked through them, and they kind of determined that there's very few, if any, secretarial autographs or anything like that in this group. So good idea to get that. But then again, this letter of authenticity just isn't necessarily a letter of authenticity for each individual item. Although oftentimes you can use this if you're selling a piece from this. And I will likely sell quite a few of the duplicates that are in here, because from the photos that they gave us, it seems like there's a lot of extras. Okay, multiples of the same guy. And anyways, without further ado, let's kind of I don't want this video to be too long. Let's get right into this. And I believe I also bought another lot in this auction. I think that's what's in here. I can show that to you real quick as well. But I think this is the bulk of what the main item, the more expensive item that I purchased that I'm excited about. So as you can see, a pretty large stack of these 5 by 7 photos, and each one I believe in this lot is autographed. So pretty exciting. I mean, the one Hank Aaron here is a nice piece. But anyways, let's look through this one real quick first. Just get this rubber band off. I believe the other item I got was, 1962 Cons Wieners set. So these were issued with hot dogs in 1962 in the Atlanta area. And it's of the minor league Atlanta Crackers. And it seemed like they were in pretty good shape based on the auction description. But these are wax, so they have kind of a little bit of a waxy surface to them. But overall, these ones are pretty nice. I believe he's one of the main guys in that set. Kind of look at these guys real quick. yeah, pretty uniform. And so again, I'm not sure if we can see this or not, but there's a little bit of a kind of a waxy surface there. And that was to protect the card from all the grease from the wiener that the world awaited. Maybe the greatest product ad of all time. You can tell most likely when these were stored over the years, this card was probably on the top of the stack, which is why it kind of has that yellowish tint to it, because the waxy surface is toned. And if we look on the back here, yeah, of the group, this one was probably on the back for that exact same reason. So it was probably stored just like what you're seeing here. But we can kind of see the names up here. So Joe Morgan, not the Hall of Famer Joe Morgan. This was the later Red Sox coach and everything, Joe Morgan. Fred Whitfield, Lou Vickery, Paul Toth, Mike Shannon, he's one of the main players in that set. Willard Schmidt, Jim Saul, Bob Sadowski, Ron Plaza, he was later a coach for the Seattle Pilots. Robert Milliken, Johnny Lewis, Johnny Cucks, he played for the Yankees for a couple years. Dick Hughes, Leroy Gregory, John Glenn, Harry Fanuc, Bob Duliba, Hal Dietz, Jerry Buchek, Jim Beauchamp, Robert Berta, Joe Schultz is the manager. He actually was also the manager for the Seattle Pilots, so you can kind of see where him and Ron Plaza kind of came up through the Major League Baseball together. But Mike Shannon is probably, of the group here, the most noteworthy player. This set also has, the best player in it wasn't in this group. I already have this set. I just had got those as possible upgrades for my set. I'm just going to compare the two and see which one I want to keep. So I'll have a number of those probably on my eBay site to be for sale for the ones that I've upgraded. But the best player in that set is Tim McCarver, and his first card ever is in that as a minor leaguer for the Atlanta Crackers. But so again, here's that auction house letter of authenticity. And so we're going to kind of go through this. This might take a little while, so when we're dealing with these items themselves do have value just without the autographs. I mean, your average J Publishing card is, worth a couple bucks, maybe up to $5 or $6 for a particular non-Hall of Fame player. Someone like a Hank Aaron, this card's, sans autograph is probably still, worth $30, something like that, $25 to $50, somewhere in that range. But obviously in this case, the autograph is the part that holds the most value. And, a curious part about the autograph industry is that, a lot of the value is resting on who the player is themselves, but there's other factors that come into it. And unfortunately, one of those factors, and it's a little bit morbid, is the date of when that person passed away. How long of a window did that particular player have from their playing career when this was made to when they had passed away? So how much could they have signed? So so to a lesser degree, the availability of that autograph. There are some people that are known to be just tough autographs. Dick Sturett, for example, is a player that just doesn't sign autographs. So he lived a very, very long time, but his autograph is almost non-existent for that reason. So it ends up becoming very valuable, even though he didn't pass away at a young age, like someone like as we can see right here, someone like an Elston Howard, who had passed away in 1980. So this one's personalized. Obviously, when it comes to autographed items, personalizations, unless your name happens to be Ted, kind of hurt the value to most people. But then there's also another flip side to that a lot of times when you see a personalization on an autograph, that kind of bodes well towards authenticity, because not very many people are going to, if you're trying to forge something, increasing the number of words that you have to write really kind of makes it even exponentially harder to pass off a forgery. So in a lot of ways, I think personalized autographs may be the best value in the hobby, just because oftentimes they're less faked. Okay, and I'm not going to say that they're never faked, because they are. I would never put it past anybody to fake something. But, you know, I feel like you can usually get things that are personalized for a much lesser amount, and they display well, but, you know, they do tend to be more authentic than just a single signed piece, especially when it comes to baseballs. But so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of go through. I imagine the pictures that they used in the auction for the photos or some of the better items, those are going to be on top. But we're going to see, we didn't really get a full breakdown as to, you know, what's in here. So I'm kind of going through this for the first time with you. And yeah, it's exciting to kind of see what's in here. There might be some hidden gems, like that Elston Howard. Elston Howard's items, you know, autographed like this tend to bring $75 to $150. They just, you know, it's just they're really tough to come by, because he did pass away fairly young in 1980. So we got Hank Aaron. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a stack of the Hall of Famers. So we got 3 different Hank Aarons, and you know, Bobby Allison. So I'm going to make a stack of Hall of Famers over here, non-Hall of Fame, you know, kind of stars or tougher to find autographs over here, and then kind of the lesser autographs. And some of the guys that are really good players lived for a really long time or are still alive, and you know, their autographs, while they're cool, they're nice items, don't hold a lot of value. Somebody like a Bobby Shantz, for example, he's still alive, I believe, and he's signed a lot, and so his item, even though he was a great player and everything like that, don't tend to hold a lot of value. But you know what? That's cool. Anybody that wants an autograph of him can get it. Felipe Alou, a couple of him. And it looks like these might be in an alphabetical order of some kind. Yeah, it looks like they're in alphabetical order. So I'll kind of keep them, and as I go through them, I'll be putting them in reverse alphabetical order. Walter Alston, obviously a Hall of Fame manager. I believe he passed away in 1984. And his autograph is pretty decent, so we'll put him in the Hall of Fame list. Johnny Antonelli, Luis Aparicio. Got a couple of him. Richie Ashburn. Yeah, he's a good one. His autograph kind of went through a couple different incarnations during his lifetime. I'm just going to do the non-Hall of Famers over here. Ken Aspromonte, Brother Bob. Ed Bailey, a couple Ernie Banks. Got 1 Banks, 2 Banks, 3 Banks. Very cool. Earl Beatty, Hank Bauer, Glenn Becker. So you can kind of see this one is definitely starting to get a little bit later. We're into the 1960s here. Yogi Berra personalized. Second one. So there's a kind of 2 different Yogi Berras. 1 personalized, 1 just a single signed. So definitely the single signed one would probably hold more value. Another Yogi Berra. Don Blasingame. Okay, Bowling. Cleet Boyer, brother of Ken and Cloyd. And of the 3, Ken Boyer is definitely the most valuable of those. Lou Burdett's a nice one. Smokey Burgess, I believe he passed away in 91, so his autograph's a little bit tougher. Oh, I think Rico Cardi as well. Orlando Cepeda, 1 Cepeda, 2 Cepedas. Bob Serve. Rocky Colavito, not in the Hall of Fame, but tends to sell similar to those that are, so I'm going to put him in that stack over here. Billy Consolo, Harry Kraft. Couple of him. Roger Craig. So this is a different series. I think that's a series of just Los Angeles Dodgers that they would put out. So you might see some other Dodgers players in this style. It wasn't produced by Jay. Del Crandall, Bud Daly. You can see this is an older one. Kind of 2 different of the same guy. Benny Daniels, Alvin Dark, Jim Davenport. Joe DeMaestri, Art Ditmar, Mo Drabowski. So there's another one of those Dodgers ones. And Don Drysdale, he's a pretty popular Hall of Famer autograph to get. He had a pretty distinct style, very kind of up and down with his autograph, and you can kind of see that on that piece. So we got one there, not personalized. I think I thought that one was personalized, but this one is. So we got what, 5 different Don Drysdale, so that's nice. Ryan Duran. I remember my dad telling me stories about him when he was a kid. He liked him because he had the thickest glasses he would ever see. It's almost like the early incarnation of Randy Johnson. Threw hard and was, for the most part, he liked to claim that he was legally blind. So just to put fear in the batters. Elroy Face for the Pirates. Hank Foils. Whitey Ford. Signed right over his face. Don't like that much, but it's okay. Tito Francona. That's Terry Francona's father. Got a couple of him. Bob Friend. This is right there. I wish we could find a nice Roberto Clemente or two in here. But so Carl Furillo is actually a pretty valuable autograph. He just he had an earlier passing date and just a tougher one to come by. So we like that. So we've got a couple Carl Furillos. Billy Gardner, Ned Garver, a couple of him, I believe. Jim Gentile, Billy Goodman. He passed away in, I think, 1984. So it's a pretty decent autograph. Jim Mudcat Grant, Lenny Green, Dick Grote, Harvey Haddix, the lost the perfect game in extra innings. His autograph's always pretty high demand. Tom Haller, Granville, Granny Hamner. So this is obviously not from a J series, but a later team issued set of Ken Harrelson. And we'll put them over. We'll put him over here so he doesn't get lost within my stuff. Ken Harrelson, Chuck Hartenstein, Woody Held, Chuck Hiller, Ralph Houck. And then we got 1, 2 Elston Howards. So those are pretty good. Again, both personalized. He had a nice autograph. He really does. So those are nice. I like those ones. So I'll put him over here with the Billy Gardner or Billy Goodman. Again, not Hall of Famers, but sell, for more and are highly collected. So Frank Howard, he was like 6'8" or something like that. He's a huge giant of a man. Al Jackson, Fergie Jenkins, fairly early Fergie Jenkins. Jackie Jensen was a dual football player, baseball player, All-American football player, decided to go into baseball full time. Actually passed away in 82, I think, so his autograph tends to be pretty highly collected. But one of the things that ended Jackie Jensen's career was his just absolute fear of flying. And when teams started flying coast to coast, he really had a hard time with that. He would rather have gone on buses. So just had a real fear of flying. That's the story with Jackie Jensen. Bob Johnson, got Al Kaline, Don Kissinger, Harmon Killebrew. 3 different Harmon Killebrews. Ted Klaczewski is always a popular one. Put him over here. Got a couple of the Clues. He liked to wear those no undershirt to show off his guns. Tony Kubek, popular Yankee. And again, as you can see, there's quite a bit of duplication here, so more than likely I'll be ending up, listing quite a few of these on eBay. Johnny Cucks. We actually just saw him in the Atlanta Crackers set. Harvey Keene. I believe he passed away in 88 or something like that, so he tends to be a better one. Clem Labine. Jim Landis. Jim Lefebvre. Rookie of the Year with the Dodgers, later Mariners manager. Jim Lemon. Whitey Lockman, Al Lopez, Hall of Fame manager there. Jerry Lumpy, Frank Malzone, Juan Marichal, Eddie Matthews, Bill Mazeroski, a couple of him, Mike McCormick, Gil McDougald, Roy McMillan, and Bob Miller. So we're to the M's. Again, this is a little bit of a longer video. I'm not necessarily just trying to squeeze through these as fast as I can because I'm going through these for the first time myself, so I wouldn't mind kind of just checking them out. Mini Mignoso, he's, in my opinion, probably going to make the Hall of Fame in someday, so I'm going to put him in the stars. Probably a good idea if you did have a little bit of extra money and you had the opportunity to pick up some nice items of Mini Mignoso to purchase. That wouldn't be a bad idea because he's on his way. He'll make the Hall of Fame at some point. Bill Monbouquet, Wally Moon, Mr. Can't see it as well right there, but Mr. Unibrow himself, Wally Moon, as famous for his brow as he is for anything else. Tom Morgan, the most beautiful man to ever play the game of baseball. The great Don Mossy himself. So this was once in Don Mossy's hand. It's like a cherished item. Manny Mota, Billy Muffet, got a couple Stan Musial. I guess just one Stan Musial. He just had a pretty distinct, nice autograph. It's a nice piece. I don't want to get too far into, how to authenticate autographs and everything like that. One of the most important things with autographs, know the source. If it's coming from someone that knows nothing about autographs and, it looks too good to be true, the price is too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true. You want to, buy from a reputable dealer. You want there to be letters of authenticity. You want, it's not necessarily absolutely necessary if you trust the people you're buying them from, but get them from a trusted source. If you want a good autograph, don't buy them from a shady source because there's so many fakes out there. Okay. Don Newcomb, I'm going to put him with the stars over there. Russ Dixon, Billy Odell, Claude Osteen, who played forever. Wes Parker, remember him as a kid watching him on the Brady Bunch. Albie Pearson. Quite a few of him. Billy Pierce. Better player than a lot of people gave him credit for. He was a great pitcher. And I have apparently all of his autographs. There's quite a few there. Jimmy Pearsall. Veda Pinson. He's also one that has some pretty good value because he passed away relatively young. In the early 1980s, while a coach for the Seattle Mariners, he passed away, so he tends to hold a little bit more value in that way. Tougher to find. Johnny Padres, a pretty good player. Vic Power. Pedro Ramos. They used to always, a lot of times back in the day, they used to anglicize the name. So Pedro Ramos, sometimes you'll find cards of him named Peter. And, we'd never do that today, but it's the same thing that they did with Roberto Clemente, anglicizing the word, his first name Roberto into Bob. And so anyways, I actually prefer when you get like a Pedro Ramos autograph that it's Pedro and not Peter. It's just more authentic, I guess, to me. Pee Wee Reese. Put some Pee Wees over here. Paul Richards. He's a pretty good one. I think he could be wrong. I think he passed away in 87, so I'm going to put him over there. Bobby Richardson. Bill Rigney. Had kind of a cool signature. I kind of like that. Robin Roberts. Hall of Famer Frank Robinson. Probably one of the most underrated players in baseball history. Just a great player, first African American manager in Major League Baseball. Just really should be in the same category as the Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, Roberto Clemente, conversation, but often doesn't get the same love that those guys do. In my opinion, he's every bit the player those guys were. Ron Santo, Hall of Famer. And there's a chance there. Roy Sievers, another guy that was a good player. Just a lot of his autographs out there. So you can pick up a Roy Sievers autograph relatively cheaply compared to the caliber of player that he was, which, isn't a bad thing. It's nice. If you want a Roy Sievers, you can find one signed. So I actually kind of like that. Moose Skowron. He's a pretty popular guy. Yankee. I'm going to actually put him over with our kind of star list here. Larry Sherry, Al Smith. I think I got quite a few Duke Sniders in here. So we got a Duke Snider Dodgers piece there. Duke Snider, Duke Snider, Duke Snider, Duke Snider. Straight into a Warren Spahn. One of probably the top 3 or 4 left-handed pitchers of all time. Don't know if it was because he played for the Braves or what it was, but just does not get the love that he probably deserves in the baseball world. Chuck Stubbs. Don Sutton. Look, he looks young there, man. That's a young Don Sutton. Cool signature, though. I like those. Bertie Tibbetts. Frank Thomas. Not the Frank Thomas. The original Frank Thomas. All right. We're missing one here. These are fairly thin stock photos. Marv Throneberry, Jeff Torborg, Joe Torre, young Joe Torre. Couple to him. Virgil Fire Trucks. He actually even signed it that way. That's kind of cool. Bob Turley. Mickey Vernon. Outside shot of someday making the Hall of Fame, Mickey Vernon. Bill Verdon. Hoyt Wilhelm for the Orioles. Billy Williams. Hall of Fame manager Dick Williams. Stan Williams. He just had a really cool signature. Really not a hard signature to find at all, Stan Williams. He was a longtime coach after his playing days. But just had one of the most distinct, coolest looking autographs. Just really distinct looking. And I've always liked it. Maury Wills, he'll go in our star pile over here. Got 3, 4 Maury Wills. Gene Woodling was a good player. Early Win, 2 of those, 3 of those, 4 of those. Carl Yastrzemski, 1 of those. That's pretty cool. He seems to be a little bit of a tougher Hall of Famer to kind of find stuff. Eddie Yost, and that's pretty much where we end. But anyways, yeah, some pretty cool pieces. I'm not sure which one out of the Hall of Famers were my favorite. Obviously, it's hard to go wrong with a Hank Aaron autograph, but of all the autographs, I don't necessarily love Hank Aaron's actual signature, so I'm not sure which of this group. Carl Furillo's not in the Hall of Fame yet, so we're going to put him in that list. And, maybe the Hank Aaron's, probably the most valuable ones that we got were him. Some really good pieces. And, the price tag on this lot was a little bit high, but, you couldn't beat it. It was just a little over $10-$12 per photo. But, if I was just in this for money or something like that, probably wouldn't be a hard number to necessarily make back if I was to sell. a lot of the duplicates, which I probably will over time do. But anyways, I thought it was really fun and just wanted to kind of share the experience of kind of going through auction lots. I know when I was younger and first in the hobby, it would have been my dream to be able to buy a large lot like this and kind of look through, find those, diamonds in the rough over here, and just a just fun thing to look at, and they'll be fun to research. And anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me know in the comments below which was your favorite autograph, and maybe if you had one of these guys as one of your favorite players growing up, or if there's an item that just like you would love to have and you just want to let everyone know that, like, oh man, that Hank Aaron auto was a killer. Something like that. Let me know about that, because I love talking. I do read the comments, and I will respond. But again, I just wanted to share that experience with everybody. And thanks for tuning in to Stars of the Diamond. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, like the videos, and get notifications when I upload new ones. I have a little bit more time on my hands of late, so I'm probably going to be uploading at least 1 or 2 a week. Mostly featuring new old vintage baseball card and non-sports and other sports sets. If you have a set you'd like me to cover, let me know about it. I have a pretty extensive collection, so odds are I probably have, at least some from that particular set. I really do collect autographs a lot. I have a pretty extensive collection of Topps and Bowman cards that are signed. So one of my next videos might actually be just grabbing a set, like one of my favorite sets to find autographed, like a 1957 Topps or 1958 Topps, and kind of sharing that particular set with you. But anyways, again, be sure to subscribe, like our videos, and happy collecting, everybody.